Yo, it's your boy MOBI1, back again here for Break the Bar Season 3. Let's break down these bars.
I don't know about you, but the feds wanna stop man's growth, they take down tunes.
I don't know about you, but the feds want to stop man's growth. They take down tunes. Yeah, basically, obviously, man's trying to grow. Man's trying to get off the street, stop doing stupid stuff. And it's the same situation for a lot of man, to be honest. And obviously, the feds, they don't really want violent music out there or anything that they perceive as violent or inciting violence. So, yeah, they just either block man's tunes in certain countries, they stop showing it to certain audiences, or they take them down. And it's kind of peaked for man because obviously, every time we put work into our craft and that costs money. It's not cheap, innit? Do you know what I mean? So we're doing this obviously so that we're not out doing other things, and obviously they're just basically pushing it in the bin, which is a bit jarring, I'm not gonna lie.
And I really don't care how to warn my bro that they're Looney Tunes.
And I really don't care how to warn my bro that they're Looney Tunes. Basically, they're joke men. That's basically what it means. They're Looney Tunes, they're funny boys, they're joke men. It's just a play on the Warner Brothers bar because they make Looney Tunes pretty much.
16 officers to one man, I don't know who called the feds as a Weatherspoons.
16 officers to one man, I don't know who called the feds as a Weatherspoons. I don't know how much I can say. Long story short, I was at a pub. Basically, the pub had like 2 entrances, and all of a sudden, I just see 8 officers this side, 8 officers this side, and they just ran in and grabbed man, pulled me out. And it was for some nonsense. They weren't even me. They thought it was another man.
Double up with the little GoPros on the chest, they don't ask us to point and shoot.
With the little GoPros in their chest, they don't ask us to point and shoot. So again, obviously, that was a double on the point and shoot. They just grab man, like instantly before they do anything. And the feds in America and other countries, they'll just shoot before even thinking. Do you get what I'm saying? But obviously, they, as you most know, they all got action cams now, which are basically made by GoPro. And a GoPro is a point and shoot cam, which basically just means you point it and shoot it. It's very, very simple. So that's why I said that bar is a double on that, because those cameras are literally whatever direction you point it in, you shoot, it films it. That's pretty much what they do with the guns, and that's their attitude towards everything. So they're just mimicking the cams, really, which sucks, but that's feds for you.
The system was fucked from the moment you called us black, who colorblind?
The system was fucked from the moment you called us black, who colorblind you. So that is a deep, deep bar. Basically, everybody knows the system's fucked already anyway. That's why the tune's called The System. But as you all know, black people are called black. We're not black, we're brown, very evident. There's no black person on this earth that I've ever seen that actually is the colour black. So we're black, we're brown in it by nature, do you get what I'm saying? That's the colour of our skin. But the fact that you've even called us black is just a negative connotation, you know what I mean? We never had colours before we were told that we had a colour, do you get what I'm saying? So we would never call ourselves black people. So we've been named that over years of institutionalised racism, and at the end of the day, we're not black, do you know what I'm saying? We're brown. But yeah, they call us that. That's why I say the system was fucked from then, because the fact that they've told us we're something we're not, that means that they want us to be moulded into something that they want at the end of the day. So I really could have backed up my flicky and showed them how to get wetter, but I know better. Basically, I can't really say what that is, but I was in a situation where I was eating in Chelsea with a girl called Chelsea. Funnily enough, I was in West Kensington. It's close enough. But long story short, I was getting some funny looks from someone, like almost like I didn't belong there, pretty much. And they just kept staring. This couples, and like even the waiters and stuff were being a bit funny with man in that place. And I was just getting a little bit angry at the situation about how I was being cheated, because to them, they didn't believe that I belonged in that establishment with them, innit? And I thought that was a bit peak. Like, why the fuck? I'm a human too, do you get what I'm saying? I've worked for my thing, so I have every right to be here just as much as you have. So, and if I make you feel, I don't know, intimidated or nervous, then you shouldn't be in in the public because you're not comfortable being out here. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. I was moving a bit mad in that situation, but obviously Chelsea managed to calm the situation down. Bless her. She's out of the picture now, but it is what it is. And yeah, man. Obviously, I know better. That was reference to Heady One. Basically, I just calmed myself down in that situation. I didn't let it get anything beyond what it needed to be, and I just basically just told them to stop staring like I'm trying to eat, fam. Do you know what I mean? You're making me uncomfortable. And then they did at that point, and I think that they were just a little bit, they probably just didn't expect man to confront them, and when I did, they was just like, oh shit, and then they just didn't look on my way after. So
All my people then bless up, we've been oppressed, but now let's keep our heads up.
all my people then bless up, we've been oppressed, but now let's keep our heads up. So basically, yeah, bless up to all the people. We've been going through a struggle for years, obviously. We have obviously been oppressed. We still are oppressed to some degree. Obviously not as much as our ancestors, our parents and stuff have been. But, you know, like I said, there's institutionalized racism. There's still things going on. People look at us differently. And, you know, things need to change. They have been changing. They're consistently going to change and things will continue to change. But obviously we need to keep pushing for it because they're not really giving us a leeway for us to be equal. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, we've got to keep our heads up. We've got to keep pushing forward and we've got to keep moving at the end of the day because if we stay stagnant, bro, then things are only going to get worse for us. Yeah.
Why did Malcolm fight, but the feds got my arms in an X like Virgil?
Why did Malcolm fight, but the feds got my arms in an X like Virgil? So why did Malcolm X fight for if we're still basically getting treated exactly the same? What, like... Did he fight for nothing? Do you get what I'm saying? If the feds got my arms in an X like Virgil, X, my arms are cuffed. That's how they've been cuffing, man, for some odd reason. Like Virgil obviously Off-White is an X as well. So, and again, he's obviously another like black leader, inspirational person. So I just put all of them together. So it was a collective way to define how we're being treated, basically. And at the same time, like the people that are, there's influential people that are around that have done so much for the black community, but we're still getting treated the same sort of thing. Oh yeah.
Step by step, rules to the shit. I wrote the manual. Step by step, step by step, rules to the shit. I wrote the manual. Step by step by step, rules to the shit. I wrote the manual. Step by step by step.
Damaging MCs until the war's dead. Made it vanish like a vortex. Run circles around him like a piece of my bought pets. Lyrics a shot, leave them with a permanent scar like Harry Potter's forehead. On the mic I murder it, boss for the flames I burn it quick. I use my verse of mercury like I'm hurting prick.
And the man them scream BLM, but they learn for ops after curfew.
The man them scream BLM and they learn for ops after curfew. Like, I don't know. I can't speak for myself personally because my ops now are basically the government, local government, or the feds pretty much because they're all pagans. They don't help my area specifically anyway. So I just see so much shit going on and things could be done differently and they're not doing it. And obviously there was man them that are in the road still that were screaming BLM. Like I went to the protest myself. A couple of my brethren went to the protest and like I would say 9 times out of 10 it was peaceful. But a couple people did go there to look for trouble. I would definitely say feds provoked it 100%. From what I saw anyway, feds were provoking things. But, you know what I'm saying? In certain situations, you have to hold your nerve because the media make people look the way they want people to look. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I saw things on the news that were basically editing it in a different way from what happened in real life. So they made people look worse than they were. But, do you know what I mean? Obviously, I understand it's a retaliation thing, but sometimes not always. So certain men are like, yeah, BLM, save lives, but then still, if they see that off on road, they're running after them after the curfew because it was during COVID times as well, obviously. So obviously it was all supposed to be like in by certain times and stuff. All of the shops are closing by certain times, etc., etc. So I know that there was people going out doing stuff after curfew. Do you know what I'm saying? So
if I slap this corner or not, will you say that the system failed me? You can start as many GoFundMes as you want, HMP won't bail me.
If I slap this corner or not, will you say that the system failed me? You can start as many GoFundMes as you want, HMP won't bail me. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. If I do something bad, are you gonna blame the system or are you gonna blame me? 9 times out of 10, if it's a black person, they'll blame the person and say the area they come from. They did this, they did that, they're part of a gang, blah, blah, blah. But if it was a proper, potentially, someone of a different race, 9 times out of 10, they might get a lighter sentence. Not always the case. Or they might blame different situations, like their upbringing, maybe the parents, something happened, blah, 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 this and that. That's what I see in the media anyway, the way that they portray it 9 times out of 10. So it's whether or not, who in the public would look at that and say, if I'd done something wrong, who in the public is going to say, he's just a bad youth, and who in the public is going to say, oh, it's the system that failed him. If the system was better, we would have got better schooling, better housing, blah, blah, blah. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's how really we should be looking at things, because if the system was right, then we wouldn't be having situations where man were going around doing madness. You know what I mean? So you can start as many GoFundMes as you want. HMP won't bail me. That was really referencing SJ, to be honest, from OFB, because I've seen bare GoFundMes for him, loads of money raised to get him out, because obviously the situation that happened with him, like obviously he wasn't like directly involved in the situation and what happened to the person and stuff. So it was more like let him out because he didn't actually do anything, sort of thing. And obviously he had a promising career, like his music was doing well, he was kicking ball as well and stuff like that. And there's bare men that have been in that situation where they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time and they didn't actually do anything. Maybe they were just a driver, maybe they went past this area, and they've been called out, do you know what I mean? And they're impending time for nothing, just because they wanted to punish people to make it look like they've done something. So the GoFundMes aren't really going to help, man, because they don't want man out on the road anyway. They don't want man out at all, period. One thing that a lot of people don't know is that the penitentiaries, the prisons, they're privately owned. So the government basically has contracts with the prisons and they got to pay them up front, basically, to keep the prisons running. So to do that, they know they have to have a certain amount of prisons, basically a certain amount of prisoners in the prison to be able to keep it funded, because obviously the government don't want to waste their money that they've paid, right? Which means that the feds have got to arrest a certain amount of people to make sure that they're in the prisons, so that obviously the food's getting paid for, all of the things that they've paid for already are getting used up, because otherwise they just lose that money that they've paid. And that's why a lot of people don't know, but the feds got targets. And I heard that in a Cadet song, and then I looked that up. The feds got targets. They got a certain amount of man that they have to arrest each week, because obviously they got to get cases closed by, just like a normal job. You got targets to reach. That's what they got to do. They got to arrest a certain amount per week. They got to interrogate a certain amount per week, and they got to try and charge as many man as they can per week. And obviously the more they do, they get bonuses, blah, 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 this and that, blah, blah, blah. Do you get what I'm saying? Not necessarily bonuses, but they might get promotions if they do well consistently and stuff. So that the system it's just so fucked. The system is just so fucked. The fact that they're privately owned anyway is mad. And the fact that they have to pay up front is mad, because then obviously that now means that government don't want to waste their money, which makes sense. They don't want to waste their money because they've already paid the private companies that are running the prisons. But then it now means that the feds are just going to arrest man, because they have to make up the numbers because they've already paid for it. You get what I'm saying? So it's just a peak situation regardless for man anyway, do you know what I mean? So, and in their eyes, we look like the criminals. That's how they look at it, so.
Yeah, my guys are tap, mines ain't on track, you can say we derailed.
Yeah, my guys are tap, mines ain't on track, you can say we derailed, G. So, basically, yeah, I think everybody is tapped in the world. It's tapped. It's just people show it in different ways, and sometimes people can suppress it and blah blah blah. But everybody's tapped, which means your minds aren't always on track, basically. Which is, yeah, my guys are tapped. Minds ain't on track. You can say we're derailed. G. It's a train bar. If you're not on track, you're derailed. You come off the track. It's very simple, very self-explanatory.
Stepping in Jordans with Jordan, now I'm a statistic.
I was out stepping in Jordans with Jordan, now I'm a statistic. So I got a brethren called Jordan. It's quite self-explanatory. I got a brethren called Jordan, and we was literally walking. We was in West. We walked from Twickenham to Richmond, and we stopped 4 times that day. And I was wearing Jordans that day. And when you get stopped, which a lot of you might never have been stopped, so you won't know this situation, or depending on the kind of search they do, they take all your details, they pat you down, they search all your bags, and then they give you stuff, and they basically give you a little ticket to say you've been searched, what time it is, and blah, blah, blah. So you can technically show someone to say where you've been if anything happens. It's like a receipt. So you show that to the next officer, but sometimes they're dicks and they just search you anyway. So that happened 4 times. And obviously, every time that happens, they add that to their system to say, we did this search to this person today, blah, 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 blah. So automatically that goes into figures and statistics to say, we did this. So I said, I was out stepping with Jordan in Jordans, now I'm a statistic. Because I was literally just walking from one place to the other with Jordan, in my Jordans, I got stopped 4 times. I got a receipt, and now I'm a statistic. Just from walking from one place to the other. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and it's mad because what they'll say now, that statistic will go into something like use on road at certain time at night or something like that, or areas that might be considered dangerous or blah blah blah. Because do you know what I mean? So. It's unnecessary statistics, but they use it to be able to find out what areas are safer and blah, 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 and this and that. It was all a bit mad, but...
Top mad on site, but as soon as they get in the court, it's euphemistic.
Talk mad on site, but as soon as they get in the court, it's euphemistic. So, again, from experience, and I've seen it on, obviously you'll see it on TV shows and stuff, a lot of things are accurate representations of shit that happens, but... feds will, some of them, not all of them, but some feds, yeah, in the situation that you're in, whatever the situation they may be, they will abuse their powers and they will say things that they know are not true, or they will do things that are out of their power reach. And sometimes they talk reckless, they will swear, they'll do blah, blah, blah. All the things that they're not supposed to do, they'll do that. Because I've heard of situations where they've edited footage and blah blah blah, or they haven't submitted footage into the like body cam footage into the case as part of their case. So yeah, they can talk mad in the situation, and then as soon as they get in the courthouse, they're euphemistic. They're acting completely different. They're almost sycophantic to the judge, like they're sucking up. They're being basically a completely different person. So it's almost like they're on smoke when they see you, and then as soon as they get into a different situation, they'll act completely different, just so things can go their way. So talk mad on site, but as soon as they get in the courthouse, it's euphemistic.
Officers on our statistic, golden opportunity and they missed it.
Then the next part says, officers are narcissistic, golden opportunity and they missed it. Everybody knows what a narcissistic person is. Some officers, most of the officers I've met have been narcissistic. Golden opportunity and they missed it. This is an opportunity. If you see someone doing something wrong, or you believe it's wrong, it's an opportunity for the feds to learn and to educate themselves that not everybody that looks how we look is doing something negative. Do you get what I'm saying? So my situation, obviously, I was in an explosion. I got burn scars. That's why I wear the belly, and that's why I wear gloves and shit. So, but I've been profiled bare times, obviously, because I look like this. But I know brethren that get stopped and searched every day for bare situations. This is an opportunity for feds to learn and look at, okay, cool, what's going on in our streets? Why is this happening in our streets? You know what I mean? And to be better, instead of just judging books by its covers and just basically going in straight to the jugular. Do you get what I'm saying? Getting away with murder, government pull wool over eyes, polycystic. We already know that a few feds have murdered some people. Most of them haven't gotten away with it, but some of them in the past have. And then obviously they get away with loads of other bullshit.
Murder, government pull wool over rise, polycystic.
Government pull wool over eyes, polycystic. Basically, the government obviously hired bare shit. We already know what the government's been like, as we've seen in the last couple of years during COVID. All the shit that's happened with Boris and Matt Hancock and Bearman have just been doing mad shit. The parties that they were having during lockdown, blah, blah, blah. So they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes, which basically they're just trying to hide secrets. So they're trying to like smooth you and pizzazz you and make things seem what they are. Pull wool over your eyes, over eyes, polycystic, which is basically an ovaries bar. Polycystic ovaries is basically like a, how do I put this? The girls will get this one. It's basically something that a woman can get, which affects her ovaries, and it can affect like how you have kids and how your day-to-day is and stuff like that. You have to probably look it up for me to go into it deeper. It's a little bit of a deep one, to be honest, but I basically wanted to put those together because you're pulling the wool over your eyes. Polycystic ovaries is not something that you can see straight away. It's not something you know you had unless you went to a doctor and had tests and stuff like that. So it's almost like you won't know it's happening until it's happening. And that's why, like with a lot of stuff that happens with the government, you don't know what they've really done until later. Like with Brexit, when we voted to leave the EU, I didn't personally, but a lot of people voted on the pretense that they said they were going to give more money to the NHS. And as soon as we voted to leave, they never gave the money to the NHS. They started saying, oh, we didn't really say we were going to do that. We were going to make cakes and all this bullshit. So
Wake up, stand up, open your mind like a pack of digestive biscuits.
you gotta wake up, stand up, open your mind like a pack of digestive biscuits. So basically just wake up, like smell the morning coffee, see what's going on around you, do you know what I mean? Open your mind like a pack of digestive biscuits, and then the ad-lib is digest it. So the idea is open your mind, open a pack of biscuits and digest it. Digest the information that's coming in and realise what's really happening. What's the next part? Open your mind like a pack of digestive biscuits.
Don't listen to the media, everything they tell you is coincides card, they flipped it.
Don't listen to the media, everything they tell you is coincides card, they flipped it. Again, that was basically pretty much in correlation to what happened at the BLM protest. I don't know if you lot seen, but there was a situation where there was like a horse and the police officer was knocked off the horse. And the way they cut it, they tried to make it look like it was the horse bolted, because when a horse runs off, it means it's called bolted or something like that. And apparently they did that in a certain way, like they edited it in a certain way to make it look like it was the protesters that done it. But the horse bolted, which can happen. The horses can get startled by anything, like. And she basically got hit off by like I can't remember if it was like a tree branch or a lamppost or something like that. And that's how the officer got hit off. But it wasn't like nobody hit her off or threw anything at her or anything like that.
If you see a black man approaching a post, just know that they pipped him.
And if you see a black man approaching a post, just know that they pipped him. So obviously if you get pipped at the post, that means like right at the end of the race, at the finish line, someone's just literally come out of nowhere and taken basically your place and beaten you to it. So from what I've seen in a lot of situations, as soon as a black man gets to almost to where he needs to get, someone's come in and just crushed it and just been like, okay, you got too far, boom, get lost sort of situation. So it's basically just to say, like, open your mind, look at the situation. Every time a black man gets to where he needs to get to, boom, they push him down a little bit more. They don't want to see us win, they don't want to see us do well, they don't want us to be their equals or their rivals. Not every single one of them is like that, but specifically the government, they're trying to keep the rich people rich and they're trying to keep the poor people poor. We've seen it 100 million times already. They're giving the government contracts to their friends. They're raising the energy prices for us, man. Apparently for everyone, but we don't really know that. Do you know what I mean? There's people that are getting out of things and they know things that we don't know. And everybody's living in a difficult situation. Everybody's got difficult situations for themselves. We all know that. And we've obviously a lot more people are in more difficult situations than the people that are in less difficult situations. So, you know, we got to look out for each other at the end of the day, because they're not going to look out for us. Not the way things are looking at the moment anyway. So, yeah, man, that's the tune. I appreciate you locking into Break the Bar Season 3 for my tunes to the system. It's out now on all streaming platforms. The video's on LDNRBS channel. And we did an animation as well with Swifty Creative, which is dope. Shout out Veli, who mixed and mastered it as well for me, and I recorded it in the studio. And Hector E as well, who produced it, 14 years old, absolutely killed it. And then obviously shout out JV8 Studios and Ace as well for having man here for Break the Bar. And I hope that you enjoyed Break the Bar Season 3, my episode, The System. May our blessings inspire one.
I don't know about you, but the feds wanna stop man's growth, they take down tunes. And they really don't care how to warn my bro that they're Looney Tunes. They say we're inciting violence, but would you rather violence or energy channeled in the booth?